For nearly 2 decades, when Apple entered a market, competitors panicked. In 2007, the iPhone redefined the entire mobile industry. But Apple rarely invents the initial product category. The iPod, for example, was not the original MP3 player. Other technology companies had been selling smartwatches for years before the Apple Watch was announced. Their actual strategy relied on letting competitors spend billions of dollars educating the market and making early mistakes. Apple would watch the landscape, learn from those failures, and release a simpler, highly polished alternative. This playbook worked flawlessly for over 20 years. Consumers and investors learned to treat Apple's delayed arrivals as calculated victories. That calculation broke on November 30, 2022. OpenAI launched ChatGPT, and within months, hundreds of millions of people were using the technology for coding, writing, and daily productivity. Microsoft quickly poured billions into the new platform. Google declared a company-wide emergency and reorganized its engineering teams. Global demand for computing power surged, sending tens of billions of dollars toward GPU manufacturers to build massive data centers. While competitors aggressively raced toward the same destination, Apple was noticeably absent. They lacked a comparable consumer product, and they lacked the massive computing infrastructure required to build one. Caught entirely off guard, Apple's historical formula fractured. A physical product like a smartphone improves through iterative design. Engineers refine the hardware, upgrade the camera, and ship a finished device. Artificial intelligence improves strictly through scale and usage. This diagram shows how that mechanism works. An early head start attracts the first massive wave of users who continuously feed new data into the AI model. The model processes that information to become more capable. That better performance attracts even more users, creating a continuous, compounding advantage. Competitors who wait on the sidelines are permanently locked out of this cycle. Without an initial user base, they are starved of the raw data required to train competitive models. In an ecosystem where early scale dictates long-term dominance, Apple's legendary patience is now a severe structural handicap. Apple generates hundreds of billions in revenue by acting as a highly profitable bottleneck. The iPhone, and specifically the App Store, serves as the mandatory toll booth to a user's digital life. This structural map illustrates the specific financial threat to that model. If a person can instruct a central AI agent to book flights, buy groceries, or reply to emails, the interaction completely bypasses the traditional app ecosystem. The AI performs the underlying tasks seamlessly behind the scenes. Individual applications, and potentially the screen interface itself, become obsolete. If artificial intelligence serves as the new gateway to the internet, Apple loses its control over user behavior. When that control weakens, their primary profit engine is directly threatened. Complicating this structural threat is Apple's own marketing. For years, they have positioned their devices as impenetrable fortresses for personal security and data protection. But the world's most capable large language models learn by continuously harvesting enormous amounts of personal information. These systems require exactly the type of continuous data collection that Apple has spent billions of dollars publicly condemning. Apple is now caught between conflicting mandates. Investors demand a powerful, competitive AI product, while consumers expect the uncompromising privacy boundaries they were promised. In 2024, the company finally responded with Apple Intelligence. Rather than launching a destination chatbot, they attempted to integrate AI directly into the operating system. By baking these features directly into notification summaries and writing tools, Apple hopes to keep users firmly within their proprietary borders. But for highly complex tasks, Apple's internal models fall short. In those instances, the system explicitly routes user requests outward to ChatGPT. For decades, Apple's defining philosophy has been absolute ownership and control over every layer of their hardware and software. Outsourcing their highest-tier processing to OpenAI is a stark admission. The most valuable technology company on Earth couldn't build a leading AI model fast enough. Computing history is defined by brutal platform transitions. Mainframes inevitably lost their market share to personal computers. Kodak dominated the film industry, but ignored digital cameras. BlackBerry controlled corporate communication entirely, and Nokia held an iron grip on mobile devices right until the iPhone arrived. Apple possesses one monumental defense, an active ecosystem of over 2 billion devices worldwide. When they deploy a new feature, they distribute it instantly to a massive global audience. The coming years will reveal if that distribution network is enough. Apple must leverage its sheer size to survive, or risk being dismantled by the exact same forces it once wielded against its competitors.